Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about what I've learned over the last 20 years about long distance grandparenting and why I think your ability to bond with your long distance grandchildren has a lot to do with your child's spouse. I'll also include some tips that I've used to bond with my long distance grandchildren that I hope you'll find helpful. AARP did a study in 2019 and found out that half of grandparents are long distance grandparents, and many of us are retirees. A long distance grandparent is a grandparent that lives 200 or more miles away from their grandchildren. Let me know in the comments if you're a long distance grandparent. Before I was a grandparent, before my kids were even married, I had this idea that the real grandmother was the maternal grandmother. It hasn't exactly turned out that way for me, but I will say that my oldest daughter has been much more instrumental in helping me establish a long distance bond with my grandchildren as opposed to my daughter-in-law. I won't go into details, but let me know if you have a son-in-law or daughter-in-law that makes it challenging for you to connect with your grandchildren. When I think about it, although I like my mother-in-law and she did participate in my big kids' lives, I think I spent more time with my mom than I did my mother-in-law, which probably enabled my kids to get to know my mother better than my husband's mother. So that might go back to that thought of thinking that the maternal grandmother is the real grandmother. I don't know. I think the story is still out on that. So chime in and let me know, how is it in your life? Many of my 19 grandchildren have already grown into adults. And for the most part, I've been able to bond with them and keep in touch. That said, being a long distance grandmother is probably a little bit more challenging than I originally thought it was going to be, than I originally anticipated. I think we all want to create meaningful bonds and relationships with our grandchildren. And I do believe that that starts in childhood. It starts when the kids are little. So here are my 4 tips for establishing a relationship with your long distance grandkids. These are all things I did with my grandkids when they were little. And I think most of them do work with the younger crowd. As the kids get older, they really aren't interested in a lot of these things. So I have number 1 as old-fashioned letter writing. I really think that kids do like to get a letter in the mail. I still like to get a letter in the mail. And one of my favorite letter writing tips is to write a letter and then cut it into various shapes, turning it into a type of jigsaw letter. And what you do is you place one piece in an envelope, and that's part 1. You send that off. A day or 2 later, you put the second piece in, send that off, and you continue until you've got all of the pieces in individual envelopes that you send on individual days. And as your grandchild receives the pieces, they put together the pieces, and then they get the full letter that you've written. So I learned this one a long time ago, and I think it's really a cute idea, and I do think the kids enjoy it. Number 2 are phone calls. And in these days of texting, I think a phone call is really nice and really important. And this does allow you to hear your grandchild's voice as well as them hearing your voice. And I think that creates a bond, just hearing one another's voice, because what that can do is you can tell if somebody's happy or sad or grumpy. It does lend itself to learning a little bit more about the person, just getting on the phone and calling. Number 3 is video calling and texting. And I know people already do this. But what I really enjoyed when some of my grands were growing up is we had a story time. So we would get on, I was about to say Zoom. We would get on Skype. I don't use Skype anymore. I don't like Skype anymore. But at any rate, we used to get on Skype and I would read a story to them. And it was called Sweet Mom Story Time. And that gave us the opportunity to connect visually. They could hear my voice. I could hear them and see them. While it lasted, it was a fun thing to do with the grandkids. And of course, texting is the way that so many of us keep in touch now. So I think with older kids, it's really nice to text and just, check in once in a while and see how everybody's doing and different things that's going on in your life, as well as keeping in touch with them and finding out what's going on in theirs. Number 4, social media. I feel very privileged to be connected with many of my grandchildren on social media. Frankly, there are some of them that don't want to connect with me this way. but we're connected on Facebook and we're connected on Instagram. This gives us another outlet to share what we're doing and to see pictures and just stay in touch. I know this video is about long distance grandparenting, but please share in the comments any valuable tips you have for bonding with grandchildren, whether you are long distance or not. In closing, I want to thank you for stopping by the channel where we talk about all things retirement and how you can determine what you value through a just-in-time retirement mindset. Please give this video a like and subscribe for more outside-the-box retirement content. If you'd like to go a little bit more in depth in this topic, please check my article, Best Time-Tested Ideas for Grandparenting from a Distance. Until next time, stay curious, stay healthy, and trust your retirement journey. I really appreciate you being here. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Marlene with Rebel Retirement, and I'll see you next time. Hey, you guys, please take a look around my channel. I have hundreds of videos on topics including Social Security, Medicare, how to get out of debt, pros and cons of moving, relationship issues, health topics, and more. And all of these videos are based on my experience and what I have learned in retirement. And I know that many people are worried about money in retirement, and this is exactly why Rebel Retiree and I created our just-in-time retirement series. And it's absolutely free, you guys, so it doesn't hurt to take a look at it. It's a mindset-based retirement planning strategy that eliminates waste and aligns your finances with your goals and values. With continuous improvement, you free up your resources to create an abundant retirement lifestyle. So I recommend viewing the playlist on this channel. And to get the full picture, visit our website, rebelretirement.com. And if you are nearing retirement and worried about your financial future, you're going to get a whole different viewpoint. See for yourself at rebelretirement.com.